Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to today's podcast of Let's Talk Relationship with Tigho, where we get real about self-love, relationships, and the courage to live emotionally honest lives. Today's episode is one that touches everything from our friendship to our families to our romantic lives, and it's titled Boundaries Are Not Barriers. And I'm doing this today with my special guest, Belinda Ogboru. She is a wife, a mother, an educator, and a very good friend. Please help me welcome Belinda Ogboru. Hi, Belinda.
Thank Hi, Sandra. I am delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice doing this with you today. And we are diving into a very important topics. It is time and season. Boundaries, contrary to how many persons sees it, they see boundary as being selfish, as being controlling, has been maybe words, for some person they see it as this bridge, that looks as if there's this thing that why is this setting a kind of bridge between us? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
boundaries are a blessing to everyone. When you understand the basics of boundaries, it protects you, your self-worth, your self-respect, building intimacy, even in our relationships. So this brings us down to a very basic question. When exactly did you understand the word boundary? And what did it mean to you growing up as a child?
Thank you for that question, Sandra. Boundaries to me, growing up as a child means respecting others. As young kids, we were taught to um, stop doing that. Don't do that. That will hurt you. Don't say such words, hurtful words to a friend. Mind what you say. Treat others with respect. Those are my early thoughts of boundaries. And as I grow older, and develop relationships, I learned there's another way that you can protect yourself, like setting boundaries or saying no to certain things, and how you make your friends and the type of friends you make, and saying no to certain things that your friends might want you to do. That is my sort of my understanding of boundaries.
For me, growing up, okay,
Mhm.
or for a very long time, I thought boundaries were cold.
Okay.
Like you only set them when you are mad or trying to cut somebody off, but now I see the reality that boundary is not about cutting off anybody. It's more about you,
It
about
is.
keeping your peace and your people at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like
True.
what? Yeah, like what you said. Growing up, we're taught to be very respectful. We're taught to be kind. We're taught to be nice, We're protected as we were directed, we were cultured, But does that include teaching you how to say no as a child?
Um, Not really. It didn't really prepare me for the actual world. I think that I learned that as I was growing up and interacting with others. Like you said, it was just um you say it when you're mad, or like a cold word, or you passing a message to someone, or you're trying to stop something from happening. That's my understanding. Yeah. But as you grow older, you learn that it actually means more than that. It's actually respecting yourself, and how do you see yourself, like what do you like and who are you. That's what you that it changes as you grow up. Yes.
Exactly. As you grow up, you realize that there is more to it. It's not about because someone has pushed you to that limit that you could no longer absorb his or her excesses, then you have to decide to say, oh no, I'm not talking to this person again. You know what I mean? Oh, you don't call my number. How dare you talk to me like that? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So we realize growing up right now, or because we've grown to a stage of awareness, we
Yes.
realize that you don't need to be pushed to that point in your life before you set boundaries. In fact,
Yeah.
at that point in your life, it has become unhealthy because
Mhm.
it's already dealing with you emotionally.
Yes, it
So
is.
that brings us to the next question. What does self-respect looks like in your daily life today?
Self-respect for me, it could mean a lot of things. It could mean my values. What are my values and how am I living them in my daily life? In another words, it could also mean what are my needs? What do I enjoy doing? In another way, it can also mean my feelings. When someone says something to me, how does it make me feel? And how do I react to it? Like, yeah. So that's for me, that's self-respect is okay, what are my values? How am I using them in my daily life? How is it forming my interactions or with other people? And my feelings, how do I regulate them when I interact with people? If I'm upset, if someone said something mean to me, how do I process that? And how does it make me feel? Does it sort of tell me the type of person I am? And how do I interact with people? And what do I like doing? When you doing something that you enjoy, it tells you more about yourself. It kind of informs you of what I enjoy doing, and it gives you peace. It gives you happiness. So that's self-respect for me.
Exactly. Thanks you for that insight. Self-respect basically is knowing you, what you can accommodate,
Yeah.
your values, your purpose. Who are you? What makes you you?
Mm.
You know. And when you come to a point in your life and you discover you, then you know what you're capable of accepting or not accepting. You know
Yes.
when to, you know when you are welcomed and when you are not welcomed.
Mm.
You know the things that brings peace and the things that brings disturbance and
Mm-hmm.
dysfunctions in your life. And be the ability to actually distinguish these things and stand with it and live with it.
Mm-hmm.
That is what defines self-respect. And most times when you come to that stage in your life, many people won't even understand the angle you're operating from. They see you sometimes as if you are overreacting to things,
Oh,
you are
you're
being
rigid.
over sensitive, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes some people might even think you are too proud because there's a limit to what you can accept because there's this standard you've set for yourself that nobody
Yeah.
does just understand why is she like this? You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that brings us to the next questions. Have you been in a place in your life where because of how you set your boundaries, you lost someone so dear to you?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to friends, I got to a certain point in my life, and I kind of reevaluate the stage or the point that I'm at, and kind of come to realize that, oh, this is not actually feeding me. I want to be in relationships that feeds my soul, relationships that build me up. And those are the people I tend to have around me. And so it made my circle of friends smaller for me. As I've grown older, I've known more about myself, what I enjoy, my values, and that filters the relationships or that I have out with people. I have, I would say, co-workers, but the people I call friends, they're a small circle. Like I said, people that feed my soul, people that feed me, that have sort of same values that I have, and people that understand me, that don't see me as um being rigid or being um too forward or too bold, like you said. People who accept you for who you are, they kind of understand you because they have similar values with you. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that brings us to the next question. Thank you so much for that. Many people fear setting boundaries with people closer to them. And yeah, and sometimes we set these boundaries and it is being misunderstood. How do you handle such situations? Like, how do you handle people who react badly when you start protecting your space?
Well, people will always be people. How do you make someone understand this is who I am? And if you're not in my space, then I guess it just fall off the side. That's how that's how I sort of look at it. Your behavior or how people see you tend to push them away. Not you saying it, like verbally saying it, but seeing how you are tends to push people away from you. People wouldn't want to associate with you because of, oh, she's not that type of person. I don't think I want to be that person's friend. She's not my type. Um, so I not physically or verbally push people away, but people just tend to drop off from my circle of friends or from my yeah. For me, but then if you have a difficult friendship and then you have to be verbal about it, I guess it's just understanding the other person as well and making yourself clear enough, you know, explaining to the person, if the person is actually a friend, explaining to the person what your values or what your boundaries are so they can understand where you're coming from. It's not being mean, it's just being me. I guess it's just being me, and that's just me. You learn to accept me for who I am.
Exactly. Thank you so much. But you know something, you know, I love the point where you said, yeah, if the person is so close to you, and fine, it's good you explain to the person. And yeah, it's good you communicate your boundary to
Yes,
people. Yes, because they will just understand what it takes without you communicating. You know what I
yes.
mean? So you have to actually communicate in a very healthy way
Mhm.
your boundaries and your beliefs at a point. And I know boundaries we changes because the loud as the world is evolving, people are evolving, we change it
Yeah.
every day, And the truth is, there are some persons you think you truly know, but you don't really know them until you start setting these boundaries or until you
Mhm.
start realizing some of the things you need to put in place in your life, some of
Yeah.
the standards you need to, introduce into your life.
Mhm.
And you now discover that the people that you even thought that way stick with you or they
Yeah.
stand you are even the first to start withdrawing or start reacting to this way of or to this new way of life. So this
Yeah.
brings us to the next question. Are setting boundary or have you ever struggled to enforce your boundaries in any relationship, maybe your past or your present, even in your marriage? Has there been any scenario you struggle to actually, you know, communicate your boundaries and stand by it and make sure that this is me right now and this is what it is and this is how it is?
They have no, I would say no. I guess because my boundaries is linked to my well-being. So for me, if If I want to feel okay and not judgmental, I have to be true to myself. So if it's just saying it politely or saying it over and over again, because sometimes people don't get it at the first time, you know. I've never had issues with, oh, I don't like this. This is how it makes me feel, and I will appreciate it, politely. If it doesn't stick the first time, you say it again. You say it again because that's truly who you are. For me, if I'm doing something outside of me, it makes me anxious. It just gives me anxiety because it's just trying to think of ways that I can um make it better or make it look nice or make it look in a way that the other person accepts it. So it's just so stressful for me. So I'm intentional about being truthful about what I want, saying it in a polite way over and over again. And hopefully it sticks. And for me, if the person truly loves and respect you, they will want to respect your boundaries. Everyone has boundaries, and saying it just makes it more your company more enjoyable. You enjoy each other's company, and you're kind of vulnerable with each other. So I'm intentional about staying true to myself and just be me. That's all.
Just be me, and that's
Yeah.
all. That's all that really matters. And
Yeah.
like what my co-presenter said, if someone truly loves you, it will be there for you. Because
Mhm.
setting boundaries is not a big deal. It's a way of life. If you must want to live a peaceful and a successful life. So if
Yes.
someone truly cares and loves you, it will or she will be there with you. But that does
Yes.
not take the fact away that when you start setting your boundaries, many people will drop off your life. That is the
Yeah.
truth. But the good thing about it is that at that time in your life, you are no more performing, neither are you no more surviving. You are living, and
Leaving.
people will see you for the real you. And the
Mm-hmm.
people that love the real you will be attracted to you. And that takes us back to the place of building a healthy relationship with yourself. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
have a healthy relationship with yourself, there's no room for pretense.
Yeah.
There's no room for pretense. You are hurt and you're smiling. Yes, I know it's a difficult one. Trust me. Many of us are victims. I am still a victim. Sometimes I still do it. But to a larger extent, you have to understand that it's about you first before any other person. What you can give to yourself, you can give it to somebody. I came to a place in my life and I sat down and I got my journal and I wrote down, um, Tigho, when she protects her boundaries, how does she
Mm-hmm.
react? How does she feel?
Yeah.
And my response was, I had this peace of mind,
Mhm.
I have this joy within me, I am not troubled, I am happy. Now, in another space, I wrote, Tigho reaction when she abandoned her boundaries.
Mm.
And the response were clear: resentfulness, anxiety, burnout.
Oh
And
yeah.
this has sometimes when I'm in that space in my life, I'm not nice at all. So why should I be so, putting that pressure on myself, just trying to please somebody? And at the end of the day, because I am in that position or space in my life where I can't really give my all in all, even the person you are trying to help, you're not giving the person your 100%.
No, you're just pretending.
You're just pretending.
And pretending stresses you out, like you said, it stresses you out because you think of ways to make up for things that you're trying to create. But if you're true to yourself, it's just all natural and it's just, yeah, it is stress free. So
It's stress free.
it's not an easy journey though to get to that stage. It takes I'm still learning more about myself. I am still learning every day of because as each year goes by, you sort of drop some habits and you pick up new habit or you try to create new habits. So your personality, it sort of your it changes things. So sometimes you might like doing some certain things and give it 3 or 4 years, you don't like doing it again. So be true to yourself and kind of reflecting on the changes in your life and how it makes you feel. It tends to just create that peace and it helps you relate to your significant your significant other, telling them, oh, yeah, this is, I don't like this anymore. I don't just like it anymore. I don't feel like doing this anymore. I don't know. And yeah, so we change to so we can accept each other, but that it shouldn't be a scary thing that because change is constant. Change is constant, so acknowledge that changes that is going on in your life.
Exactly. And that is the truth. Okay, now let's understand this. That boundaries review who can handle the real you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If someone can't see you for the real you, that person wasn't made for you in the first place.
Mm.
Because if you suppress your boundaries because you want to please somebody, they will only love the part of you
That pleases them.
that you are pretending to be.
Yeah.
They don't know the real you. So why wearing a mask covering your real stuff just because you want to please somebody? And at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, it comes with a lot of regrets and depression,
And resentment. You mentioned that.
resentment,
Resentment, yeah.
which in turn might have a turn on your mental health
Mm-hmm.
if you don't handle it quickly and as much as you can. So, boundaries again, it's clarity, not control.
Yeah.
And this brings us to a question I want to ask my co-presenter. Do you think boundaries is biblical?
Well, yes. Boundaries are biblical. The Ten Commandments, people see it as control. God wants to control. God wants to control us, but that is the opposite. The Ten Commandments actually keeps us safe. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. It just caused chaos in our world today. So boundary has been in the Bible since the beginning. Started with Adam and Eve, and which God told them not to eat the apple from the tree. And they did, because they thought God was trying to control them, but God was trying to protect them from what they cannot see.
Exactly.
So from the beginning, it has always been boundaries, but people see it as, oh, God is trying to control us. Why can't we do that? But no, all is done in love. That is the amazing thing about the Bible. Everything is done in love. So when you love someone, you wouldn't want to kill them. You wouldn't want to steal from them. You wouldn't want to take someone else's wife. and you will love God with all your being. And that is one of the greatest commandments. It said, love the Lord your God. And the second, which is still important, he said, love yourself. Love God, love yourself. If you love yourself, then you can pour that to others because that's what you have inside of you. And that's what you give to others. Love does not ask why. Love gives without asking why. So, which is, yeah, boundary has been in existence from the beginning.
Boundary has been existence from the beginning and is a good idea. I love that because the truth is this. Even when God created the heavens and the earth from the book of Genesis, and God
Yeah.
said, let there be light, let there be darkness,
Darkness,
let there be
yeah.
water, let there be dry land. And God separated the light from the darkness. There is a what? A
A
separation.
boundary.
And that
Separate.
separation is boundary.
Mhm.
And from what my co-presenter said, and he said, when God created Adam and Eve, and he put them in the Garden of Eden, and God said, everything here I gave you, you're free to enjoy, you're free to live on. But apart from this one tree,
Mhm.
do not touch. Because God knows the repercussion of touching that tree.
Mhm.
Like what my co-presenter said, God did it to protect Adam and Eve. And if you want to know why we God protect Adam and Eve, you just tune in to your television and understand what is going on in the world around us.
Yeah.
The news today. That was the purpose and the reason for the protection. So when you ignore your boundaries, there is always a repercussion.
True.
Sometimes you can handle, sometimes you cannot handle. So you must not give room for people pleasing or performance. Live the real you because
Mhm.
God has put you in here and He has enabled you to live a fulfilled life. But don't forget, you don't have unlimited capacity. As a human, we all have limited capacity. But sometimes we mistake ourselves to be God. That we can handle it. We can do this. We can do that. There is a limit to what you can accommodate, to what even, yeah, there's a limit to what you can accommodate as a person. So, and that is why you have to protect you. Let's quickly break it down. How sometimes we just think that this boundary thing is a burden, because I think it has to come from a place of not having a proper understanding of it. Because people, they know the importance of having boundaries. And for
Yeah.
marriages that understand it, I tell you, they enjoy the best of life.
We thrive.
Exactly. Because if I know that this is what she wants and this is what she doesn't want, and I respect it,
Mhm.
and I know that this is what my husband wants, and this is what she doesn't want, no matter how difficult it is, and I respect that opinion and that fact about him,
Mhm.
then the word intimacy cannot exist between these two persons. But by the time you actually know that I don't like this thing, it's not what I can accommodate, it
Mhm.
pisses me off, and you keep doing that, then you are inviting chaos and dysfunctionality into the home, into that relationship. And that is
Yeah.
why it's good for you to always communicate your boundaries. And if someone truly loves you, like what my co-presenter said, he will respect you
Mhm.
and he will handle those things with love.
With love.
right?
With love.
Yeah. So this brings us to our everyday life. Let's bring this home a bit. Come on, let's be real. What is one boundary you have set for yourself today that you have never done before? It might not be today, but what is that one boundary right now that you realize that you truly need and you introduce it into your life that wasn't really there before?
I guess it's for me, I'm not really an outdoor person. So I tend to be um at home all the time, with doing stuff for my kids and all of that. But I guess this year I got into I'll call it a community with other women,
Hmm.
as like a book club, which I've never done before.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like taking time more from myself, which is something that I haven't done. I haven't done a lot previous years. So I joined this book club, and then we will talk about a lot of a lot of a lot of topics. Starting with raising kids and raising godly kids, and functioning as a wife, as a mother in the home. So it's sort of like I just sort of I for me it's kind of like you need this. Um Leaving your kids to go be with other ladies for 2 3 or 2 hours, it's okay. It's okay. But previously it would be like in 30 45 minutes, I'm like, I have to go home, I have to go to my kids, I have to do this. But this year it's just like, oh, 1 hour, I'm still out, I'm still having fun with these ladies, and we're talking about things that are applicable to life, to my home and to my person. So that is something that I have done sort of differently this year for myself.
And that is self-care. Just knowing
Yes.
that I need it and I just have
Mhm.
to do what I have to do to
Yeah.
make myself happy.
Mhm.
And that is self-care. And
Self-care.
that is good. And that is powerful. It is powerful. And that brings us to really understanding you. What do I need as a person? That is a
Mhm.
topic for another day. We women, we are always very busy, busy with the
Yes.
kids, we have so much going on in our head.
On your plate. A lot
Yeah.
of so and you
And
hardly take time out for yourself because you're thinking of others. So taking time out for yourself and getting to meet other people, listening to other people,
hmm,
and filtering all that information through your values. That's an important one. Filtering all that info, because it's not, you know yourself, and then you hear from others. That helps you filter it through your values and pick the good ones, and pick the ones that you can kind of start as a good habit, or something that you could try, or something that you could be like, no, no, that's not me.
not that for
Maybe
me.
that's not me.
That's not for me.
I,
Yeah.
I know what this is. I know that that's not true. That's not me.
That is not me.
That's
Hmm.
not something I would want to put on. Yeah. So it's sort of knowing who you are, knowing your core values and beliefs, and filtering all the information, the interactions that you have through
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
That is powerful. Yeah. I think recently I just realized that, I talked about this thing, but don't forget we are still growing together. We
Yeah.
we are still learning every day. We are still, on learning and relearning new things. But there's this thing I think I still realize that I'm still indulged in. That is over explaining. Over
Oh.
explaining. Like I want to not to do something fine, but I have to explain myself why. And
Mm.
it just struck me like, what am I doing? So I, which is ought not to be. You have not, you don't need to over explain. Is it that is okay by you or not? Fine, say the why, but when it becomes more than you are just talking about it like it's not necessary. It's
No,
not. You must not
not.
explain yourself why you said no. You must not explain yourself why you shouldn't do something. Just make someone to understand the why, and that is okay. But do you know what I did? I started reading about it. I started researching about it, and I said, how can I stop this? And
Mm-hmm.
something struck me. I read it somewhere and it said, I read it and it said, what I read was it said, adults
Mm-hmm.
informed, children explain.
Spain.
And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, adults informed. And that sit in. You see
Mm-hmm.
why you have to keep building on yourself. You have to keep developing yourself. The mistakes some people make, they think they know it all. They need that, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. What does this person has to tell me? No. That changed everything about me. And
Mm-hmm.
this I tell my kids, even like I tell my son every time, you don't need to over explain yourself. Why exactly did you not like that? Oh, mom, it's not something I wish to at the moment. That is fine. That is fine. So we must still have, we as mothers, we as parents must teach our children how to say no. It's okay that we are guiding them. It's okay that we teaches them the good morals, the good values of life. But we must teach them how to speak, which is their voice. You
Yeah.
must make sure they understand their voice is all that matters. And how do
Mm-hmm.
you be in control of your voice? Is for you to know what you want and what you don't want, and have the confidence to communicate it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't communicate it, people will treat you the way they see you.
Mm-hmm.
And you must still live it. Don't just communicate, but you first be the first person to stand by what you believe in.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
That is true.
The confidence to own it, to own yourself, like this is who I am, and believe in it. That gives you the confidence to,
And this is the challenge many people are having. Not that they don't know that what they're going through, or maybe not that they don't know that, oh, I'm supposed to say yes instead of saying no. Or I'm supposed to say no instead of saying yes. Not that they don't know that the relationship they are in at a point
Mhm.
is no more serving them. Not that they
Yeah.
don't know that they're in a bad circle.
Mhm.
Not that they don't know that the friends they are keeping, it doesn't level up to the value which they've set for themselves. But the
Mhm.
confidence to communicate, the confidence to walk away, the confidence to speak, that is what they have challenge with. And it's something you have to learn. It's something you have to learn. And it starts by believing in yourself. It starts by even being aware of it. Are you aware that
Yeah.
you're shaking out when important discussion comes to the table? Are you aware that you can't even speak when others are speaking? It
Mhm.
starts from all that. And as much as possible, we have to learn to start teaching our children to own onto their voice.
Yeah.
We are from Africa, so we know what it is. When a child wants to say something, you say, shut up. What do
You
you think you
just
know?
quiet.
Keep
You sit
quiet
quiet.
there.
Sit quietly by your parents because you're not allowed to say. And I guess that sort of shielded us a lot. And it took a while for us to sort of discover that power that we have in within ourselves, that confidence that you have because you've been taught, you've been conditioned. I'll say conditioned. Our parents sort of conditioned us to sit quietly, don't speak. Only speak when you're spoken to. And it took a while to grow out of that, to sort of discover that, oh, I have this, and this is who I'm actually am. So, like you said, we have to keep building ourselves, growing, learning, unlearning, relearning, all of that to find out who you truly are. It takes a lifetime. It's not a one day, it takes a lifetime. So,
Exactly. And that is the truth. So we'll be coming to the end of this podcast. Before we close for our podcast today, I want you to advise someone that is having challenges with setting boundaries in his life or her life, or trying to introduce these boundaries. Find he has set these boundaries for herself, but is finding it difficult to communicate it, maybe to a loved one, especially someone in a romantic relationship, maybe because of the fear of abandonment or the fear of rejection. What is that one word you have for such a person?
I would say, discover who you are. Your identity plays a huge part in realizing boundaries. Discover yourself. Find out who you are. What do I love? What don't I like? And don't be afraid. It does take a while. Don't be afraid to say what you don't want. It won't be the end of a healthy relationship. It's the opposite. It is the beginning and flourishing of a healthy relationship. So take the time, try to discover yourself, find out who you truly are, your identity, who you are, and don't be afraid to communicate that.
Thank you so much. So if you are in that space where you are scared of setting your boundaries, you're scared of losing someone because you think you might be misunderstood, like what my co-presenter said, the first step is first to know what you really want, what is good for you. And don't be scared to communicate it, because those that value you will love the real you.
Mm.
So let's remember this, that boundaries don't break relationships. They truly reveal who is willing to grow with you.
Mm.
So if today's episode stirred something in you, we had loved to hear about it. What is one boundary you're ready to get? What is one boundary you are ready to set? Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Leave us a comment saying, I am choosing myself with love. And don't forget to follow, share, and most importantly, share this with someone you trust and keep showing up for yourself. Because the truth is, boundaries don't push people away. They show you how real love begins. I think my co-presenter have said this over and over, and we can say this enough. Until then, keep nurturing that relationship that truly matters with yourself.